Okay, so today's lesson we're going to talk about sorting and using formulas. So go ahead and add a new tab by clicking the plus sign, a new sheet, new Google Sheet within your workbook, and name it Sorting and Formulas. We're going to do a little shopping today, and your headers, I would like your row one to include first name, last name, item, description, store, and price. And go ahead and bold, and you can underline it too. Control U would underline it. And you're going to do some shopping, so I just put my family members here, so you can shop for whoever you want. We're not going to get crazy doing anything, but we're going to be able to have some data within a spreadsheet to manipulate it and learn some of the cool things you can do within a spreadsheet. So I went ahead and added my family members' first name and last name. Under item, I thought of different things that they might like. Again, don't spend a ton of time on this, but we just want to have data. So start off with that. Okay, so now that that's done, and I'm assuming you can pause me at any time, assuming that's all done, we're going to now go do some shopping. So I'm going to look for a golf shirt at Macy's, and I'm just going to go real quickly here to look for a polo, and we're going to be learning not only some spreadsheet tricks, but we're going to be reminded of some formatting techniques as well. So let me scroll down here. Greg Norman, he's a golfer, so I'm going to click on this and know that it's $34.99, and I'm just gonna kind of click and drag. I don't want the whole thing. I just want Greg Norman polo, and I'm gonna either right click and copy it or Control C to copy it. And watch, if I just do a Control V, this is ugly. Okay, we don't want that, so we're going to undo that. And you're going to right click, go to a paste special, and we don't want the format because that would come off of the website. We want the values only. So if I paste the values only, you're going to notice it's going to go into two different cells though. So Greg Norman is in D2 and the rest of it is in D3. So I'm going to just cut that, Control X, and paste it in the data entry bar right next to Greg Norman. Hit enter, and again, notice it's not fitting very nicely into cell D2, so we need to wrap it. So a reminder on how to wrap it. So that's under formatting, and we want to go to text wrap, wrap. So actually, let's do that for the entire column, then you won't have to do it the whole time. Go to Format, Text Wrapping, and Wrap. So now it'll all be set for the rest of the items that we're purchasing from. Okay, we got this at Macy's. And it was $34.99. So notice that I did not bother with the dollar sign there because we can format this entire column to automatically put in dollar signs when we click Format as Currency. There you go. Okay, so let's go and look for the rest of our things. Golf clubs. I went to Dick's Sporting Good, and I'm going to look for golf clubs. All right, golf clubs. Okay, so we're going to go back to find our golf clubs, and well, we're going to spend a little bit more on Stephen here. Just for the sake of having data, we are going to have the Adams Golf Speed Complete Set. I'm going to Control C, copy that, and you get the idea that of what I'm doing. We're going to paste the values only, and that time it did not go into two different cells, so we're going to just right here and looks like we need to either wrap this or spread it out, and I can do that as well. That price was, I think, $499.99. Goodness. Again, I'm not putting in the dollar sign because it's formatted to already do that. Let me do some more shopping and I'll come back and show you the next. Okay, so I just about finished all the shopping so far, but I saved a couple of items here just to remind you that since we already used some of the items before, I hope you'll notice that once you start typing, it automatically fills in, so you just need to hit enter and it'll go there. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. And there we go. So just like that, we have some data filled in. Now we're going to learn a formula that is, I think, extremely useful, and that's called concatenating. So we are going to concatenate the first and the last name so it's not separated. And you might be wondering why we didn't put the names together in the first place. Well, I'll show you in a minute. So you have all your data in there. I want you to click on column C and then right click so that we can insert one column left. Okay? And we'll name this a combined and hit enter. So we are going to use a formula that's going to put together the first and the last name all in one. So to do that, we need to put in a formula in the formula bar, and all formulas begin with an equal sign. So let's start off with an equal sign. Then you'll notice that you need to know what you want to do. What do you want it to equal to? And this is called concatenating. So you're going to start typing out concatenate, and you will see that it automatically will appear. So what we want to do is we want to concatenate whatever's in cell A2. So I'm going to put in A2 with a comma. Then I need to put a space. So I'm going to put a quotation mark, space, quotation mark, because that automatically will save that space, then a comma, and then we want B2. Now the interesting thing is some of the differences between Google Sheets and Microsoft Excel is that you don't have to do as much work in Excel, but basically it's all the same. You know that you need a space and you're going to put those two together. Okay, we concatenated that. Now when I hit enter, let's see what happens. There we go, Jim Zamborski. That is kind of cool. Now, next cool thing is that we don't have to do the formula for the entire sheet. All we need to do is grab this square and drag it down. And bam, just like that, it concatenated all of the names. So notice that the formula is still in there as I move on up. The data entry bar, or the formula bar, since there's a formula in there, stays the same. It just copied it straight down. That's a pretty neat use of a formula. Another formula is perhaps finding the grand total of what we purchased. So let's say we want this to be the formula. We want it to add up everything here. Well, we can use a formula that's already there for you, and we are going to use this function. This is a Greek symbol sigma, and we're going to click on the sum. We want to add up what it is. So I'm going to start with G2, and this time I'm going to put a colon instead of a comma and put the last one in, which is G7. And then hit enter. Notice it's got that invisible line all around it. To see how much I spent altogether. Well, that's a lot of money. I'm going to make that bold so it stands out. But we didn't even add tax onto that yet. So we need to figure out how much we'll have added on once we pay tax. Okay, so now we're going to add on tax. So let's make a header for that, name it tax. And we're going to use a formula to create that tax. And we want it to equal, so we're going to put in an equal sign, and we have to know that you need to multiply to find out tax. So the answer to a multiplication problem is product. So type in product, and then we have to put in the parentheses what we want it to multiply. We want it to multiply whatever's in G2, so we'll put G2, and then we'll put a comma, and we want to multiply it by 0.08, which is 8% in Cuyahoga County. We'll close the parenthesis and then hit enter, and we've got $2.79, which would be rounded up to $2.80, but of course we didn't add the currency tool yet. So let's go ahead and take care of some of those things you know how to do already. And that is make that a currency. And we did it once, so we just need to do it again. There you go. Just like that, we have the tax on all the items we bought. So now we're going to have to add, make a total column, add across, and then have a grand total down here. Okay, so knowing what you know about formulas and using them, I want you to pause me now and see if you are able to create the sum across this way and then a grand total down here. So go ahead, press pause, see if you can do it. If you get stuck, then come on back and check it out. Okay, so here we go. We're going to put in the equal sign, and we want this to equal the sum. I could have used the sigma, but we're just going to do it ourselves. Put the parentheses, and we want G2, comma, H2, close the parenthesis, and hit enter. And now we know that Jim's golf shirt is going to cost $37.79. So let's see if we can do this technique down and see if it looks like it adds it up across. It sure does. G3H3, G4H4, adding it all the way up. That took care of that. And now we want a grand total here. So we could, let's just go use that symbol, sum, and click and drag. There's another trick. Hit enter. And now we have our grand total spent of $779.98. Okay, so that's formulas, concatenating, adding, multiplying. Make sure you do that, and then I'm going to make a second video and talk more about the sorting there. So I hope you enjoyed your little shopping spree to see how much you have spent and how quickly it all adds up.